Hello. So there are a few things that caught my attention, and I decided to record. I went outside recently, and within a very short time, I saw 1111 777 77777 and 888, and then I was setting an intention as I was walking. As I show up in spaces to be a receiver, if you will, I daily just sort of check in with the energetics and, continue asking and setting the intention to, release what no longer serves and to show up in the clearest way I can, etc. And excuse me, my throat has been closing all day so far in the weirdest circumstances. And when I finished, I was, walking and sort of tuning into the solar energy. The sun is shining pretty brightly today, and as soon as I finished my intention, or whatever you want to call it, an orange spotted butterfly flew right past my right side. It was just the timing was perfect. I literally was and thank you, and boom, there's a butterfly that showed up. So, and I hadn't seen I just got back to Florida the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks, something like that. And I haven't seen a ton of butterflies yet. It is technically winter here, although it does not feel like it today. Anyway, excuse my throat. Yeah, so I've also been having interesting, I got into the elevator to come back upstairs, and because I'm staying on in a high rise, and I was in the elevator and I was having this really strange experience with this person, and as soon as I walked out of the elevator, I just I don't know, I sent him some love, obviously not out loud, and then I just had this metal taste in my mouth. It tastes like I was licking metal. And sometimes I will taste that type of sensation when I know there's certain medications that can have that effect. Also just in general, releasing heavy metals, toxins, etc. Again, please excuse my throat as it's been closing off and on since this morning. Yeah, so that could be part of the release. And also the throat and the stomach, the solar area, there could be some just nerves running through, irregular bowel movements, maybe sort of older patterns and behaviors maybe resurfacing in a way of almost you may get wrapped up in it for a few minutes and then be oh wow, maybe you have someone in your life reflect back to you how much you're not in the energy anymore, and it's almost just a quick little whoa, I've come so far. It's not gonna it doesn't feel like it's consuming you, but yeah, so it feels like there's this purge, again, especially the solar and the throat, and I am getting a little bit of temple tightness, so could be around that area as well. But I was just speaking to my friend, and we were talking about, she was saying how it's so crazy how movement and, running, shaking, and then I was saying dancing, anything like that can just really help shake off any of these unwarranted feelings. Of course, I always suggest to feel, it depends on where you're at in your cycle with your pattern that's coming up. But yeah, so some movement could be helpful. But I was saying, like, today I kept trying. I did go for a walk, and my body is just very, like, this last few days I've been very, I don't know, I just want to say, like, introverted. My energy's been, I was getting, like, a lot of vitality again, and when it comes back, it comes in spurts, and then I really just have been needing time to, like, not push myself into anything and let it just sort of flow. And I did record at some point a video, I think I called it micro changes or micro movement. So there could be something in there, but yeah, that is coming through again. Like, it's like the idea of focusing on what it is that we want to experience. And if it's like, I heard that expression earlier, like sometimes we try to run before we can walk, something like that. So it's like focusing on what you can do, even if it feels like a micro movement or micro change. And just allowing that to, like, be enough, and then just keep continuing to build on that. Of course, I'm not, like, a licensed medical profession, so I'm not here to give, like, medical advice. This is just the energy that's coming through. Please always utilize your own discernment for what is best for you. But yeah, another layer of this, I was talking about the temples, but brain fog has been coming through also the last few days. So, yeah, this is more just probably like a quicker tune-in of, in case anyone else is experiencing what I am mentioning, or if you know someone who is, but there does seem to be this, like, resurgence of, yeah, just like past patterns that you feel like you've cleared, and they may be rippling in a bit. Or spiraling in. But again, the connection to it doesn't feel as like emotionally charged. And yeah, so I'm hearing, like, give yourself a pat on the back, because it's actually showing how far you have come. There's also something about, this is like a bit more of a deeper topic that I did not intend to speak about right now, but it's coming through, so I'm just going to say it. Like, spiritual psychosis is a phrase that has been coming up, and some of the more, I guess what we can say, like, darker aspects of working with the subconscious and other realms, etc. There is like a like an anthroposophy, I believe they call it the 8th sphere, essentially like the shadow realm of, or the lunar realm in anthroposophy, like represented by the moon. And it is said, like, around this time when I'm recording this, I believe the solar energy picking up on, we're having the winter solstice, I think is on the 21st, if I'm not mistaken. And I think today, I don't even know the date, to be honest. Is the 19th? Yeah. So I've been feeling this myself, and I've also heard others speak on this, like the solar energy will be rising again. And so, especially with all of these bursts of solar flare energy we've had over the last, like, 6 months to a year. So the integration of these solar scalar waves, etc., that have been sort of being integrated, it can, it can really throw you off kilter. And I've had people in my life I've seen go through this, some personal and some just I've noticed in general. Like, I could, like, feel like something was going on in this area. And anyway, if that is something that maybe you have been thinking about, or if you've experienced, or maybe you feel shame around it, it will be different for everyone. But if this is not for you, that's okay too. Or maybe you know someone, but I just really wanted to address that, because I've mentioned it before in other recordings that I've posted, but it is coming through really strongly again. I think perhaps because of the like intense pulses of light that are radiating through, and the what we've been calling, some of us, the aurora timelines are really starting to like anchor in stronger, which is sort of, to me, feels like it's like really digging up the roots of some of these like hidden impulses, hidden patterns, ancestral trauma, etc., etc. Stuff with the land too, like we're having so much with the tectonic plates, and with the skies, like with everything that's going on. A lot of feels like fear mongering is sort of stirring pretty intensely right now. So yeah, this is just, I guess, there's a release. I could feel it like coming through, and it's like coming out slowly, and then that was a bigger one, but I feel like there's still more. Yeah, so those of us who feel tuned into some of the collective energy, just a reminder to be really gentle with yourself. Try not to rush anything, to really take your time, and maybe this is a really good time to do whatever it is that makes you feel good. I had a personal session the other day, and what kept coming through was like cooling feminine practices, because of all of the just fire energy that feels like it's sparring off right now. So much transformational energy, again, that butterfly metamorphosis. So yeah, even simple things like, I was saying, I rubbed a cucumber on my face. I love cucumbers, and I just felt like these seemingly insignificantly small things that can really just help to cool down the energy for a moment. Really focusing on electrolytes if you can, hydration, minerals, just really nourishing your body. Whatever you feel. I just heard the word tenderness. Whatever you feel called to. And of course, if you are someone who maybe isn't sure, please feel free to ask, and I will do my best to respond and help give some ideas. But yeah, it really does feel like looking at your lunar, I know I just cut myself off, your lunar placements and the nodal placements, and if you're into astrology, can be helpful. Seeing your transit of your lunar, your moon sign, and or the nodes. I'm actually seeing both North Node and South Node, because again, these ripples of the past seem to be pulsing in, and it's like when we can hold that energy and then focus on our north point, our north star, if you will, the nodal point, just sort of keeping that vision while processing through these ripples. And there's something as well that was coming through. I'm just pausing for a moment because I'm being redirected. So that could be a message in itself. I heard something very interesting from someone. She was saying, and I've heard this before actually, when our earth is tilted a certain way, there was something about the tilt being changed. Our north star is Polaris, but then when it's on its alleged organic tilt, I don't know the numbers, Vega is actually our north star. So there could be something about the constellations Polaris and Vega pulling in, and I've been feeling Vegan energy really strongly lately. Excuse me. I don't know why I just heard in my head, Sega. So maybe, nostalgia has been coming through too. So depending when you grew up, of course, but even if you are a generation that didn't grow up with Sega, for example, maybe you have kids or nieces, nephews, grandkids, something, and you remember that, but there's something about that time period. So I guess the mid 90s, I'm seeing the blizzard of 1996. This is super, I did not expect this to come through. I just looked into the sky and the clouds. I'm almost I'm seeing, I don't know, Hebrew, Arabic, And then Enochian light language. Seeing a rhino. There's this oracle card, overcoming obstacles, with a rhino, I believe, from, I always forget the name of this deck. It's an animal oracle deck, but I'm seeing it in my mind's eye. Tony Barron Reed might be the author. Something like that. My apologies if I didn't get her name exactly correctly. But yeah, there's something about like charging through. And again, not in a way of like rushing, but just holding that space and taking these micro movements, inspired action, whatever it is that you can. Actually, this kind of feels like a past energy, like you've been in that rhino energy, but it feels like it's moving into more of a space for grace, if you will. There's something about like doing a little, maybe even feeling called to do like a little ritual or a thank you, of course, however that feels good to you. Or maybe you just did that and this is just a validation or a confirmation. Honestly, I can't remember if this was a dream or I saw it on something last night. It's a little hazy, but which is really weird for me. Usually I'm pretty great at discerning these things, but yeah, there could be this like, I'm seeing like Neptune, Pisces, like this almost like dreamy blending of realities, like could be happening. Like, wait, did I dream this? Did this really happen? Like maybe you're having these experiences, but I just heard a word that I'm not really honestly quite sure. Oh, and I also picked up a book. It's not literally, it's online, that I started maybe 2 months ago, and I got like a quarter of the way through. It's an audio. And I picked it back up today. So there could be something about that, maybe like a resource or a book or a project, movie, something that you started, and maybe it's like calling your name again, I'm hearing. I heard the word in my head, visage or visage, V-I-S-A-G-E. I honestly didn't know if that was a word, but it is. A person's face with reference to the form or proportions of the features. An elegant angular visage or visage is, I'm trying to see the pronunciation, is the example sentence. Interesting. It also says a person's facial expression, the surface of an object presented to view. The example is the moonlit visage. How do you say this word? Visage of the port's whitewashed buildings. Moonlit. Yeah, so much lunar, moon, subconscious, Scorpio energy, 8th house. Oh, and the 11th house has been coming. Yeah, so maybe check any transits if you're having through your 8th house or 11th house or birth placements. That's only if you're into astrology. If not, 8th house energy, sex, death, and rebirth is like the theme. And the 11th house is like, I know it's like online communities, groups, community, friendship groups. So yeah, these things could be coming up. The literal meaning of the word, the face, countenance or appearance of a person or sometimes an animal. Aspect, appearance. Interesting, the appearance of, yeah. It sort of feels like something, yeah, maybe the resurfacing of a face. I don't know. That seems really simplified, but that's what I'm seeing. Okay, so I was saying nostalgia as well. Excuse me. Yeah, like the Backstreet Boys, Britney, like old school Britney Spears, like all this has been coming up like the past few days, especially today and yesterday. The song I heard today, I haven't heard the song in years, I Was Born to Love You from Britney Spears, popped up, and then yeah, there's been just that nostalgia coming in. Elephants, I've also been noticing a lot of elephants, so elephants can be significant. Also, Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, and I was talking about the rhino with obstacles, so there is something here I just heard like, oh, not again. So yeah. But I just looked up and I'm seeing this plane that's moving so fast through the sky. Like I feel like it's moving faster than I've seen other planes move. So that feels good. That's good. It's okay when these moments happen, you know, it's part of life. My right eye just started twitching. Yeah, there's something about the right side of the body that keeps coming into focus. So for me, that's like the masculine polarity. There could be something about like your paternal line coming through, or just hyper masculinity overdrive is what I'm hearing. Like I'm almost seeing someone trying to like force something into the ground like over and over again, but it's just like not happening. And then like surges of maybe like frustration or anger. So yeah, if you're feeling any of these, like a short fuse type of energy, irritants, it's okay, you know. I just felt it in my heart space too. Something about just like accepting, moving through it. And yeah, if you can, even if it's just a micro movement of some sort, moving especially the spine. I'm really seeing something about moving the spine. Even if you're just laying down and just, you know, if you can, of course, move your spine. If not, any body part that you can just start moving. And if you're already like full of energy and that's not something you're experiencing, then maybe it's the opposite. Maybe for you, it's taking a breather, taking a break, taking a rest. Even if it's a short one. Yeah, I think that's all I'm actually getting for now. This just felt like a sort of quick little energy check-in. I'm just gonna look at my notes of what I wrote down earlier. The Magician in tarot could be significant as an archetype. Really utilizing that, all of the elements, everything at your disposal to continue, co-creating as well. I'm releasing through the throat again. I'm not sure if you heard that. Yeah. If you are someone who like holds space for others in these type of experiences, this just could be a call to really also not forget about yourself, of course. But if you're not directly, there could be just something about the way you're showing up that is assisting. It's not like you really have to do anything, but there's something about that magician energy being shown. Like, I don't know, I saw someone like flip over a table and then like discover something. So yeah, it's like, what's that expression? No stone goes unturned or something. There's something about that. Like, this could be literal, this could be metaphorical, it could be both. But yeah, there's something about flipping something over or, digging a little deeper. Look, when like you're looking for something and you look in between the couches, you look all over the place, and it's like sometimes, yeah, something falls on the couch, but sometimes it's like right in front of our face and maybe it's right under a paper and we didn't realize, or it's out in plain sight and we're so busy looking at all these cracks that it's like right there. I don't know, there's something about that. Rainbow moonstone, the moon, again, working with, if you're into the crystalline energy, you can work with it energetically if you have it physically, but there's something about rainbow moonstone. You can look up the metaphysical properties and feel free to share if you would like to in the comments. But for me, when I tune in, it's like, yeah, I've been talking a lot about the rainbow frequencies and the rainbow rounds and the kundalini from a Keylontic science perspective. And I went a little bit deeper into that and what I posted in the unicorn constellation video. So feel free to dive into that if it calls you. But yeah, something about the transformative subconscious, like metamorphosis that so many of us have been deep diving into. And yeah, these like rainbow prism lights like illuminating through. And I've been saying the past few nights that I've really noticed that rainbow essence coming off of the actual moon, because we just had a full moon. So it does feel like, and maybe perhaps you just released something with this full moon, and this is like this rainbow illumination is coming through as validation. So yeah, that feels like a nice place to end. Thank you so much, and I'd love to hear from you if you have something to say or any questions. All right, thank you.